everyone, welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. My name is Sandra, and today I'd like to talk to you about something very important. I'd like to talk to you about some of the reasons why people stop or don't even start doing yoga. And the very first reason is they can't even get down onto the floor. So for that reason, I'd like to talk to you about an alternative way of doing yoga, and that is to do chair yoga. Now you can get all the benefits of a regular yoga class, but sitting in a chair. And the chair you pick is very important. It should be fairly sturdy. It should have a high back so that when you lean back you have some support on your back. And it should be a seat that is firm, hard, and not too cushy so that you'll feel out of balance. You also should be able to put your feet flat on the floor. Now, if you're a little shorty, like I am, this sometimes with some chairs becomes a challenge. So what you need to do if that's the case is to find something, it could be a block, it could be a blanket, that you can put your feet on. Now, preferably, I prefer a block. For the reason is that it gives you a much firmer surface to put your feet down onto, and you can start to experience the benefits of Pada Bandha, which is a foot lock. So if you're sitting and you have your feet dangling down and it feels uncomfortable, it's cutting into the back of your legs, get yourself a block. At least if you've got a small box that you can put underneath your feet that isn't too soft and won't squish down when you put some weight into it, or perhaps a couple of books, a couple of hardcover books. They should be the same height though. And get yourself in a position where you feel very comfortable with your knees bent, feet flat, sitting straight upright. Now you've got a chair that when you lean back, you tend to really lean back. You want to not be leaning back into the chair. You want to have your body fairly straight. So once you're here, you can do most of the yoga practice that you see people doing in a sitting on the floor position. Everything from forward folds, where the other person might be standing, you just have to lean forward and bring your belly down and your chest down toward your legs. Even if people have their legs extended, you can just move toward the edge of your chair in order to be able to make sure you can still get your feet down onto the floor. And you're going to stretch your legs out. If it's calling for one leg out in front and one leg in a butterfly position, you're just going to bring that foot back and just relax your knee out to the side, stretch your leg out, and then bring your chest down towards your leg. In this particular instance, you might not feel very stable. So this is where you grab the back of your chair and you let the back of your chair be your safety net for getting up and down from this position. The other thing, if somebody says, let's go into wide leg child pose, or they have the legs out to the side, you could just simply separate your legs, put your hands into your thighs. In this case, you're not going to ever press into your knees. Hands into the thighs and let your belly drop down toward the floor. It's important, whether you're sitting on the floor or whether you're sitting in a chair, that the movements that you're doing come from your hip joint. This is what we're supposed to get working again, not from your back. So it's got nothing to do with your head getting down low, but it's got everything to do with your belly coming down low. So try to keep that in mind when you're going in and out of these movements. Now, when you're first starting and your hips are really tight and locked up, you might find you can just tip forward a tiny bit before you start to feel everything from your bottom, your back, and your hip joints start to talk to you very strongly. Once that happens, you just stop there. Take a few breaths, come back up. No matter how long the instructor is asking you to stay there, unless you're in a chair yoga class in particular, you can just gently come forward, take a few breaths, come up a little bit, come forward, take a few breaths, while the others are holding the posture. Now, this is something that you can even do in a yin yoga class. Yin yoga, we hold the stretch for an extended period of time, anywhere from a couple of minutes to 8 minutes. Mostly it lands around the 4 to 5 minute range. You can use this little technique to help you if you're finding that that extended period of time is just a bit too much. Now, I know I'm going through a lot of things very quickly, but the main thing I want to bring through to you today is that doing yoga does not have to be something that only people who can get up and down off the floor can do. You can do yoga sitting in a chair. Now, if you find that you're giving yourself an excuse for not even doing that, well, then that's more about you being afraid of yoga. Yoga will not hurt your body as long as you're not experiencing pain. A lot of people get very, very tied up in all of these twisted poses that some of the yogis can do when their body is extremely flexible. I want you to let go of that. I want you instead to think of yoga as a way of keeping the major muscle groups in around the hip joints, in the knees, and your back and spine still supple and flexible enough to be able to move freely without pain. A lot of us experience pain, especially as we get into our senior years, in these areas, back, the hips, the knees, and more often than not, it's got nothing to do with arthritis, although your doctor will probably prescribe you pills for the pain. It's got more to do with the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments shrinking and starting to go into atrophy. And atrophy is just a fancy word for them not being able to function properly anymore. And the more they tighten up and the more they shrink, the more they pull on the joints and cause pain. So you need to look at yoga as a way of freeing yourself from pain, not causing yourself pain. You'll never have to put your leg behind your head. You'll never have to stand on your hands. You'll never have to do a headstand. Not in my classes. In my classes, my goal is to help you get moving again. So think about it. Chair yoga. I've got a few videos on my YouTube channel, and in the fall I'm going to be bringing a chair yoga class to my Zoom classes in the lineup. So over the summer, I want you to look at those chair yoga classes, try them out, see if it's helpful to get your body moving again, and then in the fall you can join me for the Zoom classes. You'll like it, I know you will. So until next time, bye for now. Northern Sun Yoga. Check me out.